What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to give you an honest look into how my business actually runs on YouTube. And the other thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to compare it to how other content creators in my general niche run their businesses as well, and the types of marketing that they use and the types of marketing that I've used in the past that I'm moving away from because I don't think it's super ethical. So to get the conversation started, do me a favor, watch this video, and then we'll talk.
Girls, like the party, low quality, degenerate TikTok type of girls, they are attracted to the party, low quality, degenerate TikTok type of guys. Fine, like trash can stay with.
Okay, so if you don't know who that was Hamza. Hamza is a big self-improvement guru in the space. And what Hamza is doing in that particular video is he is shaming his followers into joining his paid community. And this is a very common tactic in my general sector of things. You see Andrew Tate do this, you see Iman GSI do this, you see Hamza do this, and they all kind of have different flavors of this, right? Andrew Tate actively goes out of his way to berate his students into thinking that if they can't or are not willing to pay $50 a month in order to buy XYZ product or entry to the real world, and then on top of that pay the $8,000 that it costs to get into the war room, that they're not a real man, that they're never going to get the future that they are looking for. Iman GSI's play is a little bit different. His side of things is you need to get rich quickly now, because if you don't, the economy is going to fall apart in the next couple of years, and right now is the only time available to you to actually make a change in your life. Plus, part of his messaging is that he became a millionaire before, I think it was like the age of 18 or 20 or something like that, as a result of his social media marketing agency, which has now been debunked by several content creators. Specifically Spencer Cornelia, who went through and actually looked at his company records that showed that his social media marketing agency that supposedly made him so much money wasn't actually all that profitable, didn't bring in that much money, and as a result, Iman GSI created an entire backstory that isn't true in order to convince young kids into selling products. And again, with Hamza, I don't need to get into it, you just saw it on screen, but all of this is targeted towards a specific demographic of kid. These are all 15 to 24, 27-year-olds. And the reason why these guys know that this is their target market is because people that are older than 27, 30 don't usually fall for this type of thing unless they're in a really, really painful, difficult, vulnerable spot in their lives. Because if you're someone who already has stuff working well for you, you're not going to go in the direction of someone who's saying like, oh, you're such a pussy if you don't do exactly what I tell you to when it comes to business, or you're not a real man if you don't follow me. Like, regular people see that and they're like, oh my God, who is this absolutely insane person? Now, all this being said, this does bring up a really interesting topic here. Really interesting question, because these guys aren't doing anything that are completely outside of the norms of marketing in the current day and age. And what I mean by that is it is basically ingrained into marketing culture that you need to do a couple of things in order to properly sell products. Number one, you need to talk about scarcity. You need to be able to get your customer or client to buy right now, because if they don't, they're going to miss out on an opportunity. That's how you get scarcity into your client's mind. Another thing that's baked into marketing culture is throwing rocks at your competitors, basically saying, hey, look, this guy over here, his product is not as good. Who he is as a person is not as good. As a result, come and look at my thing. My thing is good. Now, you pair that with building a tribe, instilling tribal mentality into your followers so that they follow you, they view you as the main thought leader that they want to follow rather than anyone else out here. And finally, this kind of brings us to the crown jewel of marketing. And what this is based off of is marketing that is centered on fear and shame. What successful marketing does in the current day and age is it targets your pain points, your vulnerabilities, the parts of you that hate yourself. And they drive a knife into those areas, those parts of your psyche, and basically put you in an emotional state where you become in pain and you view their product as the only thing that will cause your pain to go away. They use shame, again, they use fear in order to get you to buy these things by telling you that the world's going to end, that telling you that if you don't do it now, it means that you're less of a man. If you don't buy their product, you're less of a man. And again, I think I do this video because I myself have used this type of marketing. And I think going into this new chapter of Anti-Prophet, I've had to ask myself some very real questions about the type of content creator and the type of marketer that I want to be. Now, again, I wouldn't call these guys like bad people because of their marketing, because again, this type of marketing is really baked into marketing culture. Like any book that you read on a successful sales letter or a successful webinar deals with these like topics. You need to kind of make people feel fear and shame. You got to throw rocks at your competitor. You got to create artificial scarcity. These are all part of the commonplace practice inside of this industry. And, you know, it's funny. I've known this for a couple of years, and I've used this for a couple of years. And I think the main thing that made me change my mind on this and made me want to go in a different direction is I was reading a book by this guy named Giannis, and his last name is some sort of Greek name. I'll put the title on screen here. But his book was called Techno-Feudalism, and something that he was talking about is in the 1950s, prior to the 1950s, the ways that companies would market products to their customers would really have nothing to do with any of the three things that I mentioned, talking about scarcity, talking like driving a knife in their fears and insecurities in order to get them to buy these types of things. But in the 1950s, around sort of the Don Draper era, companies stopped marketing their products based on like the usefulness of the product, you know, like, oh, you need to brush your teeth so that you don't get cavities, buy our toothpaste. Instead of doing that, they started pivoting towards manufacturing emotions inside of the minds and psyches of their customer in order to cause them to make emotional purchases. Now, this was a very different way of marketing. This is the type of thing where you go into marketing, and again, you don't talk about the benefits or the great things about your product. You tell the customer how they're going to feel as a result of participating with your product. Now, before I go any further from here, I would like to show you a couple of ads that I have created in the past that very much follow this script in terms of scarcity, in terms of talking about the parts of you that make you feel the most scared, the most vulnerable. Take a look at these, and we'll talk in a minute. The economy is going to crash harder than the 2008 crisis before the start of 2025. Every economic expert worth their salt are either saying this or they're taking their investments out of the stock market. Take a listen.
I saw that the McDonald's earnings report just came out. Why is it so concerning?
Because they missed their earnings expectation. If you've heard of the Big Mac Index, it's traditionally on a macro level been a gauge of how consumers are doing, not just here, globally. And from Yardeni research, that was the first sales decline in 13 straight quarters, the first time they're reporting that. And also, you looked at what did they just do recently, right? $1 menu or something? What it tells you is McDonald's is taking steps to lower their prices, and consumers are pulling back.
So with this kind of news, most gurus are going to say, oh, you need to become a millionaire before the crash. That's you just need to learn how to manage your finances, your relationships, your health, the basics before hits the fan. I will literally hold your hand and teach you the discipline necessary in order to do this inside of my new program, Peak 21, and it won't cost you a penny. If you want in, check the link. Now, again, as a result of reading that book, the Techno-Feudalism book, it really caused me to ask myself, is there a different way of marketing? Instead of targeting people's fears, their insecurities, what if I put forth a vision of the future that got people excited? And I don't mean just like in their day-to-day lives, in their personal lives. I mean a vision of the future for their society at large. Would something like that be cool? Would something like that be something that caused people to want to buy, to want to better their lives? And this is a bit of an uphill battle at this point, right? Because we live in, you know, a day and age where the creator economy is laughed at, because so many bullshit content creators have created so many bullshit like courses that just produce zero results. And as a result, even if you come into the scene trying to create something new, trying to put something new forward, you're still met with a lot of skepticism, and rightly so, because these young guys have been put through the ringer, being promised millions of dollars over and over and over again. And even when you come across a solid product, it's easy to come across it and think to yourself, oh no, I'm not going to get like scammed again. I'm not going to do that because I've been burned so many times in the past. So I think, the way, again, that I've tried to go about marketing my products, like for example, I have Metamorphosis right now. That's my new flagship product. And this is something that I'm incredibly proud of. This is something that like over 97% of people who join the program say that this is one of the best things that they've done in the last few years. It's incredibly like competitively priced. It's $21 to try at the beginning for the first month, and then if you don't like it, you cancel your membership. If you do like it, you continue forward for $100 a month after that. We teach all of the things that you would need to know when it comes to making money online inside of the creator economy, because that's where I'm best suited, that's where I have the most expertise. We talk about ways to get the partner of your dreams, not based on any red pill bullshit content, but based on like the Gottman method, based on real scientific data that exists out there in the world. And we talk about, getting into mental and physical shape so that you actually have the mental discipline, the consistency, and the body to help power you forward throughout the difficulties that ultimately arise with any of the things that you might want to improve your life upon in the world. And I don't say this necessarily as marketing here in the video, though I guess if you want to check it out, I'll put the link in the description of the video below. I say this because even if you have this incredible product that you're putting out into the world where you're just getting unbelievable levels of positive reviews and people like changing their lives, like fixing their relationships with their parents, like healing like mental and emotional wounds so that they can move forward in the realm of business in ways that they've never unlocked before. And these are like 35, 40-year-olds. These aren't just like random fucking kids. These are like real people with real lives who make real money. They're not desperate. They're not poor. They're like real, like solid people. Putting something like this out into the world and not using the type of marketing that I showed you earlier in the video, and I showed you with what it is that I've done in the past. Avoiding that type of marketing still yields less results than if I were to go in the direction of saying, no, like if you want to be, like actually successful in life, you need to check out Metamorphosis. Like I could go in that direction. But is that the type of person that I want to be? Is that the type of marketer that I want to aspire to be? Would there be something interesting to show the marketing world if I were to lead with people's hope and vision for the future rather than their fears and insecurities of the present that are based in the past? I don't know. I hope the answer to that is yes. But, like with anything else, time will tell. And this is going to be the type of thing that, like any business, I have to pivot and kind of figure out the correct messaging, the correct marketing that still allows me to communicate in a way that is authentic and honest, because that's what I care about most. So, maybe, I guess on this last topic, if this is something that you want to get a little bit more insight into, I'm happy to create a video that is just 100% transparent on, like how Anti-Prophet makes money. Because I think something else that's useful is, there are all these like little fake guru kids that run around online saying like, oh, like here's how to make like $1 million by doing XYZ thing. But then when you actually like pull back the curtain and see how their business model works, it's not impressive. They're not doing anything all that original or interesting, and they're just renting out Lambos and mansions for the weekend in order to create videos that make you excited, make you feel like they're rich, when in reality they're broke. Being a content creator, doing this type of thing it requires like real business acumen in order to do it with any level of longevity. And if that's something that you want to learn a little bit more about, I'm happy to make a video about that. So put that in the comments below if you'd like that sort of transparent look at like all of the ways that Anti-Prophet makes money, monetizes the real business difficulties that brands like this run into. I'm happy to make that. That would be a lot of fun for me to talk about, actually. But I guess all this being said, the number one thing that I would impart to you here as a result of this video is to simply keep in mind that if anyone puts a video in front of you and tries to make you feel bad emotionally about yourself so that you buy their product, just run away from it. Because the worst thing that's going to happen is you just end up saving more of your money, and you end up making sure that you don't get scammed over and over and over and over and over again. But the best thing that will happen is that it will train marketers, content creators, all of them, to understand that leading with fear and shame-based marketing is a losing game, because they won't make as many sales as if they actually deliver value to you, they actually give you what it is that they say they're going to give you, and they lead with hope and inspiration and a genuine feeling that is authentic and honest, where you end up leaving the experience of doing business with them thinking to yourself, damn, that was really good. Not only did it feel great, but I actually got the result that I was looking for as well. Imagine what would be possible in the creator economy if those were the type of people we were doing business with.